Welcome to When Will It End? I'm Josh Landis, joined as ever by my co-host Charles Hobby. Charles, say hi to the nice people.
Hi, I'm a little concerned.
Why are you concerned?
Well, I just was commenting on your sunglasses, and then you turned to face me, and you look very similar to the main bad guy.
Give me your clothes.
Yeah.
Give me your clothes.
For what? For why? Why?
Just give it to him.
I mean, that's fine. I want
I'm
you
naked.
to have them.
I'm only wearing sunglasses.
It's true. He is only wearing sunglasses.
When Charles came into the studio, I was curled up in a fetal position on the floor as mist rose around me, completely naked.
And I was like, Josh, you okay? No
I
answer.
said, give me your clothes.
Give me your clothes.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, I love your hair.
I like how Bill gets only a few seconds of time, and he's like, well, who the fuck do we got here, motherfucker?
You know what I love is that punks in the 80s were fighting over which one got to use the telescope.
Yeah, that's pretty cute. That's such an LA thing.
Yeah. Like, well, let me look. What were they looking at?
Griffith Park, I assume?
This is When Will It End?
Yeah, we watch a whole series of movies.
We watch movies from start to finish. Well, we watch series from start to finish. We always do watch the movies from start to finish as well.
Yeah, I don't want to boast, but most of the time we watch these movies.
Except for that one time we sort of stopped watching Pirates of the Caribbean and Curse of the Black Pearl for no reason.
We needed a break.
Yeah, we just sort of walked up, 5 minutes left, we just sort of walked up and got out of the room, stretched our legs, ate a banana.
Came back for the after credits. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do people think we're really watching these all the credits? I mean, come on.
Jesus. But no, we're starting a new series, and please don't make a Die Hard joke.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother hunter killer?
That's actually the line from Die Hard.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother hunter killer.
Mother hunter killer, yeah.
Yeah.
We get a few motherfuckers in this movie.
We do. It's really pleasant.
It's nice.
But yeah, we don't need to make a Die Hard joke because we said last episode that
the bit's done.
We're not doing Die Hard. I mean,
we'll never do Die Hard. It was all a lie, a ruse, a red herring.
Even though I have some great stuff to say about Die Hard, and this actually does fall into my self-created Die Hard studies.
Sure.
Because this is a similar time period.
Right, and I think this is a movie that's a depiction of masculine violence.
Yep.
And, we have the great Linda Hamilton in this movie as the great Sarah Connor. And, everywhere around her are, terrifying men. Even the man helping her, who she later beds and takes his V card, which is a detail I always forget when I watch this. Kyle Reese has blown up a few tanks in his day, but there's one tank he hasn't blown.
Boop, the ball tank.
Wait, do you think he didn't J.O. either?
Oh, yeah. I always assumed he never J.O.
I mean, how could he... in the vision of the future we see in this movie, how could he conceivably be making time or space to J.O.?
I just assumed he would just wait for those wet dreams.
He gets home, a Terminator shows up, he's about to crank it. He's like, no, again.
It's like that time I showed up when you were just about to crank it.
Yeah. It was
really never have time.
Yeah. You're sort of the emotional Terminator of my life.
That's so nice.
You just show up and wreak havoc and devastate people.
I'm here all day.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You're trying to say something.
Am I?
I don't know. We're watching a series of films. It's about Terminator.
It's not Die Hard.
No.
And this would fit perfectly with the Die Hard, so it's nice that we're not doing it.
It's nice that we're not doing it.
But I do think we should return to the joke at the end of the series.
Hey, stay tuned. Find out. What a motivating reason to stay listening to this podcast. We might return to a bit. That's good stuff.
Yeah, makes me feel happy.
And hey, if you're happy, I think everyone is happy.
So here's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
This is a movie that came out before both of us were born.
Yeah. I mean, I am 19, so it came out sometime before my birth.
Are you going to leave your sunglasses on the whole episode?
Until I make a dramatic reveal about my red glowing eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to be in the mindset of a killer.
All right. So I'm going to just feel hurt and scared, and I'll be in the mindset of the hunted. There's
so much sunglass wearing in this movie. I feel like he churns through sunglasses. What is that? Like a moment of desperation?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's me trying to get into the mindset of a weak.
Sure.
Think I'm powerful, but making bombs. You can't kill it.
There's so many stripes of pathetic men in this movie.
Yeah.
There's the self-assured experts.
Wait.
Yeah.
I want to start. This came out before both of us were born.
Right.
I want to hear how you heard. When was the first time you saw this movie? Because we've seen movies that, especially Pirates, those were coming out when I was just out of high school. You were still in high school. These were prime movies.
I was in middle school when that started.
Jesus, you're so young.
I'm 19 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of movies that have been like Shrek, like Austin Powers. These are all movies that were part of our childhood. We would potentially see them in theaters. This one is not. So how did you see this? What happened?
Well, as I recall, there was the Terminator hand toy that had like KB Toys, the local toy store. Like, you know, they have like the precursor to the Hulk hand, which is like the platonic vision of that idea of a toy. They had like the like hand plastic attachment things where you could like make a Terminator hand come out of your arm.
That's sick.
As a kid, I would see that, and I would see toys from Terminator. Because again, I was born, as we know, in the year 2000. I'm 19.
That was really quick math.
Hey, thank you. Yeah.
If you weren't wearing sunglasses, I think I could have seen your eyes go.
Well, I have a Terminator-like array in my head that does extraordinarily simple arithmetic.
Very quickly, though.
Very quickly.
Within seconds.
Yeah, it's part of the magic of. I am a cyborg hunter killer.
They took microseconds to determine the fate of all humanity. A few seconds
longer to figure out when I was born.
Yeah.
No. So I came of age in the '90s to show my hand here for a minute, and so like though I missed T2. Oh, T2 is 91, right?
Correct.
So that was still riding a huge high, like through the rest of the 90s. That just cascaded over into my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
So working backwards from T2 toys, I think that's how I learned about the Terminator. But again,
totally. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Are you one of those awful people that saw T2 before you saw T1?
I was a child.
Are you one of those awful people?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck you. It was one of the biggest movies of that decade. Fuck. How could I possibly... Here, we're going to get into this a lot. Like franchise...
Oh,
shut this fucking... God damn it. God damn it. Stop it.
Okay.
Okay, so basically,
Okay, that actually worked to prep for that character.
Yeah. You're kind of like a dog, where like you really have to...
but not like a Terminator dog that helps... This is one of our favorite things was anytime Linda Hamilton tried desperately to change the subject to something nice.
Right.
She's like, well, we've talked about your awful life.
Well,
Can we talk about something else? And he's like,
set this up.
What?
Okay, listen to how you just told the story. You didn't say who you were talking about the entire time.
I'm so sorry. There's only two characters. There's only two characters in the movie.
3.
Yeah, but one of them doesn't say anything and is Terminator.
He says some stuff like "fuck you, asshole,"
"fuck you, asshole,"
which he then brings back in Commando as well as "I'll be back," which is amazing. We talked about this, but Commando came out like 5 minutes after Terminator, and he's already like, "Hey, remember Terminator? Check this shit out."
He says both, right?
"Fuck you, asshole."
Yeah. Anyway, we don't have to, we can talk about that later.
No, you're saying that Kyle Reese, the sad sack guy from the future, who like is another man to scream at and terrify Linda Hamilton in this movie.
Jesus.
She's so traumatized by men over the course of the film that it's cool that like the Terminator is like the ultimate man who has absolutely no empathy. He's not even pretending to have empathy.
Right.
He's just nothing but a killing machine.
I can't wait to get into. I think this will be in the middle third where we actually talk about. But yeah.
Yeah, get excited. Hey, start charting it.
I'm fucking excited. Yeah.
No, but so Kyle Reese, who's like the worst date of all time, is all I can talk about. Is like, in the future, the hunter killers kill my whole family. We battle them by day, and by night we live in fear.
We drink piss. we just chug piss and pick our scabs.
Right. And like, she's like, well, what do you guys do for fun? He's like, oh, the Terminators kill us for fun. Yeah. Like on a good day, they kill us.
And then the line from the movie is, well, let's talk about something else. He's like, oh, we should like say something. He's like, say what? Like he has nothing. What else can we talk about?
Are we talking about Terminators again? She's
and then
no,
she's
I'd rather not.
I had a dream about dogs. Oh yeah, we used those to figure out when a Terminator's infiltrated our home.
Right, and I think that's just like a little setup for like a wonderful flashback to like the absolute waking hell. This movie's great for so many reasons, but there's so many moments from it that are just so indelible. And I think, this is one of the rare franchises where, as you were alluding to earlier, like T2 is inseparable from Terminator. Because I think for that many people, this was like that movie in its unprecedented success, like does make this a rare first franchise feature that absolutely lives in the shadow of its sequel in a way that I don't think we've ever talked about it in a series before.
Do you mind if I bring up Star Wars briefly?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Tiny. I'm one of those,
I am the Senate.
I'm a fucking asshole that I saw Return of the Jedi before I saw any other Star Wars movie.
I think only you are this tortured about any of this. Like, I'm fine with the life I lead. You know what I mean?
Did
you see the Rescuers Down Under or the Rescuers first,
Rescuers Down... Fuck, Rescuers Down Under.
You're fine. You're already tainted. Why make me so dramatic about it now?
And I saw Operation Condor first, even though that technically is the second one.
And I saw U.S. Marshals first, which is technically the sequel to The Fugitive.
Before The Fugitive?
No, that's not true. That's crazy.
I would have walked out of the.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
I would have walked right out.
Hey, we accept all people on this podcast, but if you've seen U.S. Marshals and not The Fugitive, or before,
or
The
even
Fugitive,
before,
you're a fucking piece of shit.
God damn it.
Think about your choices.
So you saw it on DVD.
I'm 1,000% certain I saw this on VHS at some point in the
VHS
90s. Yeah.
in the 90s.
Maybe not even the 90s, because we're going to get into this, but like, this is a really upsetting movie. People talk about action films that fetishize violence, and I think, when we eventually get to our Die Hard take, which is a spicy one, it's kind of a movie where like violence is the ultimate equivocator and like the ultimate thing that makes everything else okay. Like John McClane is only helpful as like a male partner to someone because he like churns through a mountain of corpses. This movie's like every moment of violence is upsetting. It's never cool. It's never fun. Like, I think about how culturally when he shoots up the nightclub, like that's really upsetting. And especially in 2019, when you think about the world we live in today, like, he's setting this movie in the early 80s, but this idea of like pervasive, endless warfare, like happening like in civilian or in places that are not, it's really, that stuff really aged well. And like how violence is, it's in this movie really made to be terrifying, and it is.
Yeah, the whole movie's aged well. Everything. I mean, special effects are just, you can tell it's not a person, but they look fucking amazing.
It's like Alien and the Thing, and this I think in my mind it's like, come on, like sure, some of the anime it's not.
I was just saying that maybe the only thing that hasn't aged well are what they were dealing with technically, but even those, like, you can tell it's stop motion sometimes. You can tell it's this or that. You can tell it's a weird fake head.
But I think about like the original King Kong, where it's like all of the shortcomings for that movie add to this atmosphere that really works. Like they couldn't show the backdrop of the jungle, so there's mist everywhere. And like this movie, similarly, it's very clear when they're doing composite shots. It's very clear when there's some very weird like green screening going on. But like it just adds like, he is so inhuman. By the time he becomes this like herky jerky stop motion fucking like terrifying chrome skeleton, it really just like at that point I think the atmosphere comes together so beautifully.
Yeah, it's nice. It's definitely a tour de force, a pretty small budget, but I guess big for what this was.
They swung hard at this.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like, this could have been like the millions of shitty robot movies that are out there.
And we, in our previous podcast, covered Screamers, a movie I thought about a lot watching this.
Yeah, Screamers.
Which, like AI drones and waging endless warfare against humans, the same theme.
And what's it called? The one I mentioned, we also did for the previous. The one Hardware.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, with the great Dylan McDermott.
Yeah, definitely. It's an influencer. It was a standard influencer. That's a term we use nowadays, right?
Well, I mean, I think that refers to cool, good-looking, thin people on social media. But like, yes.
Well, I'm saying, if this were an Instagram account from 2017,
right,
everyone would be all about it.
Why are you so 2 years ago?
I just think influencing.
Upgrade your shit.
Influencing was 2 years ago.
But now it's a job. It's still happening.
Yeah, I know. It's just not the same.
Right.
I used to be an influencer.
Really? What'd you influence?
Coolidge Corner Theater.
Wow. Your place of employment.
Well, I didn't influence them. I was influenced. They were influencing under my name.
Is this like when teachers say, I like to think they influence me more than I influence them?
Yes. Or like those bumper stickers. Who saved who?
Wow. About the dog. Yeah, and it's like, well, literally you did, because dogs are stupid and could never save someone.
Right.
Other than like the stray St. Bernard who drags someone out of rubble.
But I mean, first of all, St. Bernard has whiskey, so that's cool. That saves me.
I've heard brandy.
That saves me every day. If you catch my meaning.
He reeks of cheap booze.
Yeah. But
hey,
also,
what do we actually reek of right now? How do we prepare for this session? A little nibble. We had a little nibble. What do we get?
Got a little Impossible Whopper.
Okay, quick little snack side corner. Charles, you are, as some know on the podcast, and you occasionally make a very veiled, oblique reference to this, but you yourself are a vegan. You don't partake in animal products because you are in so many ways better. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so you had a real treat. We got to go to a fast food place. Got to have almost beef. What'd you think about it?
Well, I mean, we already talked about this on the podcast.
We have not eaten it yet, though.
I mean, I ate it. Remember a couple of episodes ago?
I blocked so much of this out of my mind.
I gave it 5 forks.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you up and say this was a 5-fork experience. I got it with cheese and mayo, though. It's a little different, but like,
right.
There's the point is that like it's so much like a Terminator in human garb. The line betwixt artificial and organic almost blurred to the point of non-existence.
Wow. That's cool.
Makes you think. I forgot how much like The Thing this movie is. I think it's funny because like they try to make it like that a little bit, but clearly it's Cameron. He's so excited to get to the really crazy shit that like it's not nowhere near as like. I think the beauty of like Under the Skin, a movie that really scared me and fucked me up, is that like you really don't get what's going on with Scarlett Johansson until the last like 5 minutes. Then it's like really fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I kind of I this movie seems caught between those impulses where like for a little bit they're like, who knows? Is he man? Be he machine? Then it's like, pretty.
We want to show you the cool shit.
So
So
we need a lot of exposition from old Reese to get us ready.
yeah.
But it pays off, man. This ending fucking rolls.
Can I tell you how I first came to see this movie?
Charles, I would be delighted to learn this, as I'm sure our listeners would as well. So please, Charles, take it away.
Well, I would like to go on the record as having seen Terminator before I saw Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Is everyone at home? I know you're probably applauding, shrieking, erecting a shrine to Charles for this accomplishment. I'll let that die down for a minute. Okay, Charles, continue.
I mean, you can keep going.
Yeah, at home, feel free if you want to pause it.
Yeah, why don't you?
if you want to fucking run around your house shrieking.
If if you still feel that need, pause. I'm gonna keep going, but yes, please feel free to pause. Don't miss anything.
No. How could you?
I hate these people. I hate
miss?
lots of types.
Okay, lots of times. This cannot be good.
People that listen to podcasts at anything but one times speed.
Yeah, honestly, what you're too much stuff to do. You listen to a
Unless
podcast.
you're doing half speed.
Right.
Fuck you. 1.5, 2. People listening to podcasts at 3.
That's crazy.
If that what I just said in that weird explosion of syllables at 3 times, you would have heard nothing. We got to do Alvin and the Chipmunks. That'd be fun. I can't do that right now because my cold.
So you saw this in the proper sequential order, and what was that experience like?
Well, I mean, I got to say, also speaking of Die Hard, my dad is a very strange person. Any listener to the podcast knows that my dad's a weirdo. Mm-hmm. For some reason, he chooses to watch. He really likes violent movies, and he thought that was like a good thing to show a young boy, so that I would learn how to be a man. But he also like misses the subtext of all these movies that come out. Like Die Hard is a very anti-masculine movie, and I think this is too. It's like very obviously a movie about bad men and how they're all violent. But my dad just like, oh, there's men fighting things. That's good for my boy. He got to learn to fight something soon, so I'll show him the Terminator.
Right.
So he recorded it off of AMC or something.
So with commercial breaks?
No, AMC when I was a kid didn't have no commercials on
Wow.
AMC.
How about that?
Yeah, but my dad,
Wow.
I thought of this when you were watching it because you took a pee break
I did.
and you took it right
Can I be
after.
honest?
Yeah,
It was not
that's true.
strictly
Can we tell
a pee
you?
break.
Let's tell the listeners. Take a little poo corner.
Had to poop, and I did, and it was satisfactory.
How big was it?
It was a substantive outputting.
How many flushes?
Oh, a single flush though.
Wow, you live in a great home.
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty lucky person. Whether they can get all the poop go away with just one.
All the poop go away.
It goes poop go away so quick, and it's really good. And I know that I'm showing my privilege right now.
Last apartment I lived at, if you took any sort of shit, good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Charles had to suck it down the pipe himself.
There are families with poop knives. Have you heard about this?
This is ruining my day. Congrats, you ruined my day.
Where you cut up the big one so it goes
This is
down.
horrible. I don't want to talk about this.
Josh,
I would
just be thankful that you live in a home where you don't have to have a poop knife.
No, hold on. What consistency? What are they eating to produce turds that regularly that require just like white flour and gum?
Gum?
Just gum.
Gum takes 7 years, Josh. Haven't you learned anything? Or I guess
you think
it's
7
like
years?
whiskey.
Yeah,
It's like whiskey.
Go ahead. Gum is just like whiskey. Go
If
ahead.
you start eating, in the same way that you need to start distilling whiskey or aging it
Right.
in, say, 2007 to produce a batch in 2014, but if you keep doing it, you'll be able to produce batches over and over and over again. So that once you have it, people can
So
keep
they
having
prep
it.
their colons just to
Right.
create these really dense, impenetrable turds.
So they started eating gum. We can say 2007 again.
Okay.
Because I got that math thing still in my face.
And also, I did a little
Have to redo
research, and it looks like there was gum in 2007.
All right, great.
And people at home, fact check me if I'm wrong. Get in touch,
Send him a knife in the mail.
please. I'll cut up a poop, help me flush it. I do eat a lot of gum, so yeah.
Yeah, so they probably just start eating gum and then have 7 years of normal shits. But then once the gum starts coming out,
Oh, that's exciting.
They just- yeah,
Speaking of this, do you think Terminator poops? Because they talk about how
Yeah.
much effort they put into making him lifelike.
No.
See, he has got blood.
well, I think that's the thing is I think I was reading something about how he's not actually a cyborg, which I totally disagree with. He's not like a metal skeleton covered in skin. They created a machine that used blood and skin. They are all one. It can exist without it, but in order to keep the skin alive, they're like a symbiotic relationship of the skin and the robot.
What we do see famously is the flies landing on his face as his skin carapace begins to rot off.
Because
his
he's not
skeleton.
taking care of himself.
And honestly, when I watch this movie, I see a man in crisis.
He's not going to the gym.
You got to take care of yourself.
Come on, man. Eat some healthy meals.
No, all you do is kill cops all day and random vagrants.
That's actually one thing that hasn't aged well either, because now when we see a bunch of police get shot, we're all like, fuck yeah.
Well, there's this great moment in the movie where, just before the iconic prison sequence where old Termy rips through like 30 cops in like 5 minutes, it's sick. Reese is like, they're surrounded by him. He's driven a shrieking Linda Hamilton away. He was like, what the fuck is happening? And they're surrounded by cops. He's going to get out to protect them with his gun. And she goes, no, they'll kill you.
It's like,
and they're like, this movie's just all about like how like violence is the ultimate negator of any like, authority or rationale, like
truth.
In a world of might making right, which is very much the LA where is depicted in this film.
I mean, there are multiple shots of to protect and serve, and it's got like him in the seat, so it's like, oh, that's sort of funny. But like just the thing in general of like that slogan on the LAPD in the 80s.
Right. Like this
but also
really
NAPD
hollow, misleading,
anytime.
empty idea. And that's what we find in the police. They're like, he says, we got 30 cops here. Quit being such a hysterical woman. We'll be fine. Even the nice cop, the fun, cool cop we like so much.
He's not even that nice. He's such a piece of shit.
No, but it's awesome because we have
like,
Lance Hendrickson who's like,
these things work,
guy. I want to talk. And he's like, shut the fuck up. I'm at work.
That scene was amazing.
It was so good. All of the little, like, I think that what Cameron does really well in this is that, like, he gives us a lot of, like, texture, which is really great. Like, we see what Sarah Connor's life is like before she's enmeshed into, like, the deepest level of hell. We see the cops have this rapport. And in the midst of all of this, the truly alien presence of these futuristic people, like, it's really jarring. And I think I feel like he's a breath away from doing a full Spielberg, people talking over each other kind of classic Spielberg thing. Like, you can tell that's almost the vibe he wants in some of those scenes.
Sort of. I don't think Cameron would ever want that in a way.
Well, no,
I can see what you're saying.
Arch,
the energy is there, but I think he is such a control freak that he would never, ever want more than one character talking at once, because that would be interesting.
Well, we're talking about how this franchise is going to develop itself, and I think, we're now talking about a guy who's involved in two of the most infamous sequels of all time.
Titanic?
Aliens and T2.
Oh, not Titanic?
I'm talking sequels.
Yeah.
That's not a sequel.
What?
You thought that was Titanic 2?
Sorry, go ahead. Terminator 2 and what?
Aliens? And Aliens, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a guy like, he goes big in these sequels.
Big.
And that's like a point of discussion we'll be getting into.
We will be.
Because like this idea of
not with aliens, but
we have covered that in a previous podcast. Check it out, The Real Deal, Josh and Charles.
Yeah, we did
Alien Palooza.
This was actually
that is the proto When Will It End.
It was proto When Will It End.
Yeah. But no, again, so like he swings really hard in these movies, and this one is so early in his career and so restrained that like we're about to see this crazy ballooning effect in the second one, but like we're on the precipice of that, and I think that's really fascinating.
Because what's next for Cameron? Is it Aliens or is it the?
I think it must be Aliens, right?
Wait, he didn't do The Abyss. Yeah, he did.
He did The Abyss, but that was definitely not before Aliens.
I'm not sure. I don't know his chronology.
Yeah,
chronology. That's
filmography, chronology, general. You get the idea.
Yeah.
But okay, so basically.
Wait, I haven't finished telling my story.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
Why don't you go look up the order?
Yeah,
I'll tell my story. So my dad would do this thing, and I was reminded of it because I was like, I went through my whole childhood watching nothing but violent action movies paired with like quiet Japanese movies from the 50s and then the French New Wave and stuff. But like my dad would always find, like, what he would do is he would say, all right, kids, this is a good stopping point. Why don't you go brush your teeth? And then he would fast forward through the sex scene. So I never saw the sex scene
in Terminator
until much later in my life. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then I watched other things and I was like, oh my God, my dad was fucking censoring out the beautiful.
Hold on, they could cut that sex scene in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's really
it's very unnecessary.
Honestly, I haven't seen Piranha 2, but it seems like sort of the sleazy leftovers of like a career in bad horror.
Well, I mean, that was how he got his start, was working on Corman Productions.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So it's like, it seems like that was just sort of thrown in there.
Well, okay, so interestingly enough, you just pointed out something that I just realized is kind of cool, just filmography and the entire premise of the podcast. So Piranha 2 is first like proper full like release movie after Exogenesis, which I know nothing about actually.
Never even heard of it.
But Piranha 2, okay. Then the Terminator that's in 82. Then Terminator 84. Then he writes Rambo First Blood Part 2, a sequel in 85. And in 86 he makes Aliens, a sequel. And then The Abyss in 89. And then Terminator 2, Judgment Day. So he's already a guy from the get-go who's steeped in like developing worlds out.
Yeah. And it's like, that's what I was talking to you while we were watching, is like, this movie is so contained and its focus is very small, but it does do what other franchise like setup movies have done, is like, it's really established a world very well.
Absolutely.
And like, it makes a story, like, I can see why we want a sequel. Like, this isn't just like a one and done. It could be, but it's like, wow, this is a really cool place. Like, there's so many, especially once you include time travel, it's like they could do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well, but also he does this very clever thing, which I love. And like, he contrasts the dystopia of contemporary LA with a slightly more dystopian feel. Like, he sets up this like really amazing parallel where it's like the modern day is violent and threatening and dirty and untamed, and the future is like even worse. So this is the crucible that I'm setting up with this dynamic. Like, we're not starting in like this, unblemished paradise that is going to become like things are getting worse. Like, we're in the process of an intensification. So of course it deserves a sequel. And I think watching it again, it's like, everyone, all of the men who futilely attempt to save her until she saves herself, by the end of the movie, you really understand why she's like, I'm a fucking badass. I got a Jeep Wrangler that says Renegade on it. I have my own dog. I've got my gun, and I'm headed out to Mexico to survive on my own. And like, yeah, that's fucking thrilling. I love that. Her just driving off into the matte painting with the clouds moving,
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I really do. So, I mean, you get why, like, it feels like we've set up this world, this crucible is getting tighter and tighter, and Sarah fucking Connor is now the badass that we know she's going to be the second Reese starts blabbing on about I fell in love with her photograph that his son showed him of his wife. Yeah,
so it could actually be really interesting to have seen this out of order, because her character really doesn't become Sarah Connor until the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's sort of what this movie's about. It's like, we see from the very beginning, she loses a date, her job sucks. Like, just her life is not very interesting. It doesn't seem very important. And like, it's not that this honestly gives her life much importance, but it makes her choose to do something. As awful as it is, it's basically like, I mean, we can talk about the men in this movie right now, because it's basically like, this movie she has to make a lot of changes to her life and actually become an active person, because every man around her is violent and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the desperation of Reese is really fascinating, where like, he's not that heroic. Like, he's not charismatic. He's not charming. He's really traumatized. He's really broken. He shows up acting like a fucking lunatic and terrifying her, even as her like chosen protector. And I don't know.
Did they not like coach him a little bit? Be like, all right, she's not from this time. Just maybe come in a little easy. Be like, hey, this is, we're in a little danger. Let's go. Well, let's leave. All right, stay with me if you want to live. It just fucking eats, sleeps, and makes baby sharks.
Right. Yeah. It's fucking nuts. Right. And then also, like, okay, so, she knows two people are following her. We know that. He's one of the two. He's very threatening.
Yeah.
And she goes to make a call to the police. It's not about Schwarzenegger. It's about Kyle Reese. And then we notice in the scene, there's a man just ogling her while she makes even that call.
It's crazy.
So, like, the persistent presence of male threatening danger is, like, even before we get to the Terminator, is very real and apparent. And Reese is no better than any of that. He's very much a part of that.
Yeah, I'd never noticed that dude in the background when she's calling
the cops.
Was it the cop?
Followed, yeah.
No, it was.
Oh, it's calling her mom, leaving the message at her mom's house.
No, it was before all that. Who was she calling?
Was it her friend?
Yeah, she was calling her friend from the bar, and there's this dude standing behind her and being like, "Hey, baby." It's like, you can see his eyes go up and down, gives her like a little kiss mouth. It's like that wasn't intent. That was like purposefully dropped into the movie.
Yeah, and then also like her friend's boyfriend terrifies her deliberately outside of her own home.
Yep. And this is like talks about sex at her for no reason.
Right. And like it's like really impressively nuanced, and it's done. Like, we talked about, like, this is famously not a dialogue heavy movie, other than some long scenes of exposition between her and Reese. But like a lot of the threat is just told visually really powerfully, and like we get like that she's living this life of constant danger even before Terminator shows up.
You know what I realized watching this time?
What's that?
Reese kills himself.
With the pipe bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terminator doesn't even get him.
Right.
He kills himself.
Right.
It's just like he probably could have dealt with that Terminator differently. But he decided to blow it up with him standing right next to it was the best idea.
So what did you think about the escalating finale? Because I think one of the most delightful parts of this movie is that, like, you know, you keep thinking he's dead, and baby, that Terminator's just getting going.
It fucking works.
It fucking works.
It always, like, you know it's coming, and every time it's just like, wow, this is the end.
The truck blows up, he's on fire, Reese is like, we did it, we beat him. Nope. He back. Okay, fine. Lerman here will try to get him with a pipe bomb. Okay, we finally got him. Nope. Half of his carcass is going to drag itself into a fucking crusher. It's sick.
Yeah. And even before, I mean, there's stuff before that. Like, he seems to be, like, all he wants to, like, it's true. All he wants to do is kill her. That is it. And it's just like, it's a very nice visual metaphor for the inner thoughts of man.
Yeah, exactly. Just like single-minded, driven to hunt women, upsetting, uncaring, unempathetic. It's amazing. And like, yeah, the competition, like, she doesn't kill him with a gun or an explosive. She lures him and outsmarts him with a trap. So in the movie, there's all these men like blasting off round after round of like gunfire and ammunition. She like doesn't rely on that.
No.
At the end of the day, to survive on her own. And like, though she at the end, of course, is clutching, you know, a gun over her pregnant belly as she drives off into the Mexican desert. You see why she got there.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, she's now
there's got to be a sequel. Like the second, I'm sure the second. I mean, there's a long break. You know, there's 7 years between this and Terminator 2.
Hold on.
Yeah,
put my sunglasses on. Can you do those math glasses?
Hold on, my math glasses are on. 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. You did it faster than me.
Yeah, I did it twice too.
Double checked it.
I double in my head. Yeah, I did it one
Mr.
time.
Hop
I was like, I got to run it back over.
Always told me to double check.
And clearly a lesson that stayed with you well. I had a math teacher named Bope once.
Named Boat?
Bope.
Bope.
B-O-P-E. Bope.
I've never heard that. Was that first name or last name?
It was Gerald Bope. Jerry Bope.
Jerry Bope. That's a great
Jerry
name.
Bope.
I want to dress up like Jerry Bope for Halloween. So can you please just
he had like
paint
frizzy classic math guy hair, like balding, but like the remaining hair was very
classic
resilient
math
and
guy,
coiled, and he had, you know, like steel framed like aviator style glasses, very like, you know, old school glasses.
Were they curved around to all the way down?
No, not full ear catchy thingies.
Right.
I don't know what they're called.
They're called ear catchy thingies. Yeah.
No. Classic math teacher. A lot of like plaid shirts tucked into slacks. That kind of guy.
Wearing any sweaters? Talking sweaters?
It wasn't really a sweater guy. Maybe a sweater guy. It's been a long time. It was middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Hop used to snap at us.
Right.
Yeah, he's that guy. No, he would like, what's 2 + 2?
No, it's too many. What are you doing? Why are you snapping?
He would just snap at us until, but it was a more complicated question than 2 + 2.
Okay.
And we were all just like, I wonder what that is. And then he'd be like, this is taking too long, and he'd just snap at us until we gave him an answer. It's like, fuck you, Hop.
What
we're working the best we can.
Terminator-like approach.
He turned out to be a robot, yeah.
But okay, so, you know, obviously, again, it's weird talking about this movie more than any other movie so far because, again, T2 is this massive cultural moment where Cameron has that connection of like, okay, I have this absolutely iconic character. Let's make him spout out fucking dumb shit and catchphrases now.
We're going to be talking about T2 next week, and I hate it.
Okay, we're going into it feeling like this is a movie that we're both well versed in. I've seen it truly countless times, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've seen it so many times.
Right. So it's weird. Like, I don't know if this is almost, I feel like a rupture. We've talked a lot about how we're podcasting lords, and we
talk about that all the time.
Constantly. Yeah. It's a part of our mythos that everyone is almost too familiar with. We invoked the council, the podcast lords, to tie the spirit of podcasting into a human representative, in this case, O.J. Simpson. And again, we're not proud of that. It was a mistake. But, you know,
but it'll do.
It'll do for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The day he dies, though, God help us all.
Wait, he's not dead?
No, stunningly. Yeah, he's still alive.
Is he in jail?
Nope, he's out again.
Okay.
Yeah, he did try to, rob I think, successfully robbed the sports memorabilia sale in Vegas. That's why he was in jail last.
Yeah.
He seems like it was a good pick on our part.
I think so, yeah.
Really down-to-earth LA guy who didn't let fame get to his head, didn't get all rattled,
But no one would ever suspect that he is actually the, what is it, the Force of podcast?
Wasn't he supposed to be in this movie? Isn't my understanding?
Yes.
Like, famously, O.J. Simpson was supposed to be the Terminator, and then the classic things, they're like, well, no one would think O.J. Simpson's a fucking cold-died dead killer who just, brutalized women. And it's like, oh, well, lots of evidence suggests that very much likely was the case.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm worried that we're almost breaking podcast lore law here. But, we're really leaning on our experience with the second movie to look at the first.
Oh, that's true. Thank you. Yeah, we really. I mean, it's so hard, as you said.
Because everything you see watching this movie now, whether or not you want to see it, is what Terminator is not doing.
Yeah, and luckily for me, I hate this movie so much. I've only seen it, I think, 3 times.
Okay, but again, it's so ubiquitous.
It wasn't right, but it wasn't one of those things that I grew up as a 12-year-old boy, had it on VHS, and watched it every week, and just was obsessed with relating to a little boy who wanted to find a friend in a big man.
And what a beautiful story that was.
That was the slogan of the movie, right?
A little boy wants to make a friend with a big man.
Yeah.
No, it's really.
He's a robot.
What I'm saying is we never really we never see this Terminator again. This is it.
Yeah,
right.
And that's honestly why Cameron. I don't like Cameron. We're talking about the way he sequelizes things. He sequelizes to erase whatever happened before. Aliens. Alien is such a strong movie that it does stand alone. But if it were a tiny movie like Terminator, everyone's like, oh yeah, Aliens has more than one alien, has a cast that talks at. It's
there's a love story.
Yeah, there's a love story. There's a kid. It's he does all these things to just totally subvert whatever was happening in the first one.
Right.
Or this movie is strangely powerful, very small, very it never stops.
Right.
It fucking never. And the moments that it does stop, it's such a feeling of relief when you're we see the sunset. Once the sun goes down, the tech noir day,
right.
There's only one other scene where the sun comes back out again. And it's so nice.
Right. At the end of the movie, when she's in a big open space with a big open sky for the first time, not in this closed off, nightmarish, permanent nighttime LA, it's such a big change.
Yeah.
And the movie we're about to see is the Technicolor explosion of all of this.
Yeah.
So I guess we're at the point in the podcast where we talk about, are we asking when will it end? This is weirdly rigged against being able to answer that. It's impossible to separate this from T2. That dynamic, I think, is maybe a big part of why we wanted to do this entire podcast to begin with.
Yeah. This could have been one reason.
What?
This movie.
Could be sure. Exactly. So it's, what the fuck, what do you do? You just show up here to say the dumbest shit, and it's I don't know where you come up with that.
I'm still got a headache.
Oh, yeah.
I can't breathe out of my nose.
I was out very late from a rock and roll concert last night.
You still see rock and roll concerts?
Despite my old age. And I'll tell you a funny story. We had some Massachusetts legal medical cannabis mints. And the person at the door in Connecticut said, my friend very adorably, very earnestly said, these are marijuana mints. And I think the door person was like, well, one, don't tell me this. And two, you can't bring them in now. You just said they're weed. So we had the option of throwing them away or eating all of them very quickly and going back in. And we opted for that. So that
was nice of them to let you do that.
Oh, she was, I would describe her investment in, stopping a medical cannabis marijuana mint thing. That was very low. She was not high on her priorities.
Right. And if he hadn't said anything,
she wouldn't have given half of a shit. Yeah. It was amazing. But my friend's earnesty pushed us to a level of depravity that was maybe unanticipated earlier in the night, which was very funny.
Okay, so you're also a little...
What I'm trying to say is, yes, it's been a morning.
Yeah, but at least we got that Impossible Whopper down in the stomach.
Yeah, and again, much like Terminator, technology, organic life, where does it begin? Where does it end?
It's the name of the show.
It's delicious.
Wait, no, when will it end? Not where will it end?
It's where will it end is our next thing, where we walk down the road for a while just to find out where it ends.
That's our podcast?
That's the podcast.
Weird.
And it's unedited. We just walk and walk and walk.
That's really good.
So we get to the end of the road. We're like, look, T intersection. All right, see you next week.
That'd be really good. Do you want to start that?
Oh, 7-Eleven.
That'll be our Patreon. Wait, will we be talking while we're walking?
Sometimes, I don't know.
Or just walking and we get to the end of the road?
I think this is a real, serial level, groundbreaking, avant-garde exploration of the format. So I think this is good stuff.
This is good stuff.
It's a podcast where nothing happens. How many shitty Seinfeld podcasts do you think are out there? I bet there's like a zillion.
What do you think they're called?
It's a podcast about nothing. That's like 8 of them.
Okay, so one of them's called The Podcast About Nothing.
Right.
One of them's called The One About, because isn't that how they named all their... No, everything just began with the... So maybe it's called just The Podcast, and that's the Seinfeld one?
I think you're confusing that with Friends, where the naming convention for every episode is the one where blank happens.
Right, and that I was, but I've never seen Friends, but I think I was told that. But Seinfeld is just everything's called like The Haircut.
Yeah, probably.
I think so. Right. So it's probably just called The Podcast.
I find this like resurgence of Seinfeld and Sopranos worship to be super irritating. I don't know why.
Yeah, just let it die.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's like these things are allowed to take a deep breath, everybody.
Seinfeld, Amy was saying something about how Seinfeld was like complaining about how all the imitators of Seinfeld didn't do it well, or was he talking about coffee and cars?
You're talking about a quote your girlfriend told you that I don't know that you just brought up. How could I fucking possibly?
Well, maybe you saw it because you're just constantly like on the internet watching dumb shit.
Well, hold on. I watch sports content about highlights.
That's the best way to watch sports.
No. I watch
shows. You're not there. Oh, which ones do you watch?
I did get into Binging with Babish. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Binging with Babish?
It's like a meteoric, like a hugely successful YouTube channel where the guy like makes food from TV and movies.
No, it sounds nice.
It's fun. He doesn't make anything from Terminator.
Fuck.
I know.
We should make something. What would
Remember
we make?
the guy we see in 2029 who's eating like just like some real creamy gruel?
Yeah.
Before getting shot the fuck up by a Terminator. Eat? I don't know. I guess they really scrape fungus off of the bottom of scrap metal.
We saw how happy that boy was when he caught that rat.
Yeah, they're about to go eat that rat.
So they definitely eat rat.
Yeah, hey, but Binging with Babish, there you go.
Rat.
From Terminator.
Raw rat.
Just straight up like
a live
charred rat.
Oh, charred on a stick?
I think like burnt
rat on a stick, yeah. The TV fire was... Mwah.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Oh, that's great. The shot of the two kids looking into like a TV. We cut around. There's just flame in the TV. Fuck. But okay, so what I was saying earlier was like, the question is, when will it end? And like, we know this is not ending for some time. We sort of know what's coming next. I obviously, having seen this in a vacuum, would love to see a sequel to it. I know that the sequel is both beloved by many and frustrating to some. I have like, it's a mixed feelings moment where I feel like we're about to see this mold get shattered to great success, commercially and I suppose critically. But like as someone who loves this movie in and of itself, I feel like I'm already flinching for what's going to come.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go on as positively as I can. I told you I was excited. What I do? I made some hand gestures. It's like I'm excited to give it a chance.
He looks like an Italian chef talking about a pasta sauce.
Yeah. I'm excited to give it a chance.
Yeah, toss of the rigatoni.
I'm excited to give it a little pepperoni.
He's gonna get a little pepperoni. No, I am excited about this. Like, maybe it's gonna feel less like corny than I feel like I associate it with my memories. I also feel like there's like that whole like T2's the greatest movie ever. Like they think that's like a millennial attitude that I hate. Like, I know it's like in the hall of VHS classics. I get that. Yeah. But like, it's frustrating. Like again, I love how dark this movie is. I love how like its depiction of violence isn't cute, and like, even though in T2 they neuter him down to not actually killing anybody, he's still like, the violence is cooler. Like, it definitely is. It's totally a different zone.
It's the opposite. Like, that's why I don't think Cameron actually had much to do with the first one. This feels so unlike anything else Cameron's done.
This feels so much more like a Carpenter film. Like the thing about like Assault on Precinct 13 is that like it's really about how upsetting violence is in an urban setting. It's like really like terrifying. And like the violence in it is overwhelming. The like endless gunfights, the child getting killed. Like that movie, I feel like this is way more in that flavor. Mm-hmm. And this is a series that becomes famous for just like Schwarzenegger spraying 1,000 rounds out into like everything and blowing up 400 cars and churning. Like it becomes this like really much more cartoonish thing. And in this, like it's again genuinely an it's an anti-violence message is what it feels like.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should try our best, as you mentioned earlier, to obey the lords of podcasting rules and like do our best to not talk about the next one for the rest of this episode.
Okay, we'll call a parlay.
Let's do that.
We'll say goodbye, Poppet, to talking about T2.
Yes.
We'll invoke the parlay. And do I make you Randy, baby?
You always make me Randy.
I love sequel.
You look great in my clothes, by the way.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm wearing your Randy outfit.
Yeah, and I'm now naked.
I know.
I've been naked this whole time.
Just those sunglasses.
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to talk about the nudity in this movie. It's really great. I think seeing Schwarzenegger as like a perfect little man, like a perfect muscular little, like,
right.
Marble bust of a man, and then contrasted with Kyle Reese. Who is that poor actor? I know he's a name. The guy who plays Reese.
Yeah, I only know him from Aliens. That's the only other thing I've seen him in. Was it Michael Biehn? It was like a series.
Yeah, Michael Biehn. Biehn. Hey, he was in Tombstone.
Oh.
And The Rock.
Oh.
And Planet Terror. We got to watch Planet Terror.
Oh, yes. I do remember recognizing him in that. I think he plays one of those like falling apart guards, maybe.
Yeah, his career never really took off.
I really like him.
Yeah.
I think he is fucking perfect.
Well, the thing is, I wonder, like, in the direction of this movie, like, so I was saying the nudity thing, when he shows up, he looks like fucking like he hasn't eaten in 4 years, and he's covered in scars, and is scampering around, and has no luck, and just like he's like a pathetic dude. He's just like barely staying ahead. Though, of course, I think the getting dressed in the store while escaping the cops, and the lowering of the Nike'd feet in the photo booth, that's one of my favorite shots in cinema. It's so American and wonderful.
I want those shoes.
Yeah, but no, so like, I wonder how they directed him in this movie, because like, he's not sexy or cool. He's really fucked up. He's obviously not the leading character in this movie.
And that shirt, I mean, it's a weird outfit too. I mean, I know he's supposed to have ripped half of it off of a hobo and half of it off of random shelves, but like, he doesn't really look good there either, where the Terminator looks great.
Yeah,
he just keeps upgrading.
By the time we get to full Terminator with the leather jacket and the glasses, he looks so fucking cool. It's absolutely staggering.
He starts out, he looks cool. That weird jacket with like the tie is strange, but I mean, he still looks good, and the boots are great. And then like, oh shit, wait, now he's got a leather jacket and some fucking gargoyle sunglasses.
He's fucking cooler than ever.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He can fucking shoot me with those 1800
guns. One of my favorite scenes was he rips out his eye.
Sure.
And then he touches up his hair.
Right.
He like takes time while he's looking in the mirror to make sure he still looks good.
Right.
Like, this dude fucking rules.
Well, I think it's cool because we're literally seeing the aesthetification of violence happen with an actual character.
Yeah.
Like representing, I am violence itself becoming aesthetified.
Yeah.
And like, I think is it fetishization? Definitely, but it's dark and it's supposed to be upsetting. Like, he's streamlining his persona into something even more like visually striking, like a fascist. Like, there's an amazing book out there, this massive coffee table book about the aesthetics of fascism, and it explores like, Mussolini's Italy and Nazi Germany and communist Russia, just like these totalitarian states, how they become these like facades of like authoritarian violence.
I was at a wedding sort of recently.
Okay.
And I walked into a conversation where this drunk uncle was talking to my friend, and he was like just going on and on, like, why Nazis stayed in power? Because they looked so fucking cool.
Yeah, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like people figured out a long time ago to like help master the sense of authority, like you have to be this like impenetrable wall of style.
Of leather.
Right.
Yeah.
So like our heroes get more and more frantic and upset and like fucked up and like just brutalized, and he just gets fucking cooler and cooler until by the end he's literally a chrome skeleton with glowing red eyes.
He's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's perfect.
So again, it's like all these ideas about violence in this movie, I feel like he deliberately cashes in on with the total reverse. We're breaking our own rule now. I'm sorry, I don't care.
Wait. What were you? I thought you were reversing. Can I finish that sentence?
Go ahead, bud.
Not break. I know I hate doing this, but I feel like we can stay true to the rules of the lore of podcasting.
Sure.
What podcast lord? Yeah, and say with the reverse of Kyle Reese.
Right.
And if you had like, imagine, say, I know Sylvester Stallone was also potentially going to be the Terminator. But say he was like, all right, we can't use it as Terminator. Why don't you be Kyle? Can you imagine having like two of the exact same kind of people going head to head?
Yeah.
Be a disaster.
Right.
You have this like fucking wild-eyed maniac who's scrawny as hell. You can see his ribs. He's pretty ripped though.
He does look great.
He looks fucking hot.
Yeah, we understand why Sarah Connor wants to take his V card before he gets killed by a space robot.
He's got fucking pretty eyes.
He's got pretty eyes.
His haircut, he could use a better haircut.
Wild PTSD, which is something people really seek out in a lover who is constantly armed, bleeding, and escaping a robot.
Yeah. What do you think of my hair right now?
Whoa, little pivot there. Your hair looks very nice.
Well,
I got a haircut recently myself.
Well, I haven't cut my hair in a while, and I feel like the top's just going crazy, but I also sort of like it. What do you think?
It's a little shaggy, but you're not full Reese yet. That's nice.
I'm feeling
you're still
like
closer to the Terminator than Reese.
At least in Boston, anyway. There's so many just like, what is it called? Short on the sides, a little less short on the top, sort of haircut.
The alt-right fasci sort of look? Yeah.
And I sort of was doing that just because it's really easy. But
and it does betray your political beliefs.
Yeah, so I'm trying to betray the betrayal of my political beliefs. Unbetray them?
Yeah, unbetray. That's the phrase people use.
And grow a different haircut.
Wow.
And what do you think? Is it too crazy up here? Does it look fun? Does it look like I just got out of bed? Do I look cool? Do I look sloppy?
It looks like you could be in either an LA alleyway or 2029 LA, which is basically a pile of rubble with a screaming child in it.
So not good either way.
Well, Reese actually, I wonder what there's protocol with hair stuff in the future, like if it's all practical.
Yeah,
because he has sort of a beard going. I guess when can he shave? You know what I mean?
When can he shave? Do they have water? Probably. They must have water.
Doesn't look like it.
That scene in fucking 28 Days Later when he shaves.
Yeah.
Like, why shave, buddy?
I get it. Are you kidding me?
But he wants to.
When I shave after a particularly long day, I feel great relief. If I was truly living house to house, escaping a horde of zombies, a rare opportunity for some amenities would be lovely.
But he didn't have water, and he just was like, oh, that scene.
Well, it's England. They take it very seriously.
They do. And he kept wearing shorts.
You've got to look good for the Queen.
Yeah, and your papa.
Right. We've all seen Love Island. They look great.
I haven't.
Oh,
don't include me. Yeah, I hear it's great.
One of the seasons, there's one Terminator in the couples, and they're trying to suss out who the Terminator is.
So they use dogs?
They use dogs.
Yeah.
But it's great stuff.
I still think of that. I had a dream about dogs. He has no idea what the context is. She could have been dreaming about
they find Terminators.
She could have been a dream about the puppy bowl. She could have a dream about anything to do with dogs. But he's just we use those to find Terminators.
What'd you have for breakfast? It's eggs. It's my Terminator fighting fuel. We use the fuel to fight the Terminators.
Oh, what's that music you're listening to?
They killed everyone I loved. Oh, it's my it's a vocalized meditation on Terminator killing.
Oh, that's interesting. What size shoe do you wear?
Terminator.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's all he knew how to talk about.
Yeah, it's great.
It was really good. That's why I'm saying he is fucking perfect. I actually really love his performance. I think he, for me, is my favorite performance after the detective.
Which detective? The top detective with the glasses, or
the glasses
Lance Hendrickson, who's hey, I got a cool story.
No, what's his name? Whitfield or something?
Yeah, he's fucking great.
He is perfect, and I think that's what I like when you actually come into a movie and you sort of evaluate acting. Yeah, Arnie does a great job, but the guy who plays the cop is just he settles into that role he's been there his whole life, and he's fucking perfect.
Yeah,
and you're on your phone. What are you doing on your phone?
I believe what we're talking about is the great Paul Winfield.
Paul Winfield.
He was fantastic.
He is fantastic. He was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kyle Reese, whoever played him, was it Michael Biehn?
Michael Biehn?
Michael
Biehn? We haven't really solved it. Also, sorry, Mike, your career kind of was really weird.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
famously turned down Alien 3, which is a whole other conversation.
Oh,
that's
why
Hicks dies. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was he supposed to do?
Well, you actually remember he sued the Fox for making Alien 3 with his likeness in it.
Wow.
He turned down the movie, so he sued them over having Hicks in the movie at all, which is really interesting.
Did he win?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow.
A troubled film, and my favorite in the series.
My favorite in the series.
It's so
too.
fucking good.
We'll never do them, though, because we already did them.
Well, you're wrong about this take. Linda Hamilton is so good in this. Schwarzenegger is so good in this. I don't think Michael Biehn. I get what you're saying. He does his thing very well, but I love Linda Hamilton in these movies, and I love Schwarzenegger. God, your incessant coughing is taking down the vibe of the show, and I think you need to think long and hard about the coughing bullshit.
You don't think the incessant terminating is taking down the vibe of the show?
Was that a question?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? What is the terminating?
You don't think? So you said the incessant coughing is taking down the vibe of the show.
Oh, you make a good point. The terminating is a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer. This is a bummer episode. Talking about fucking men killing other men.
You were doing a little bit of fun during the movie. Remember what you said when she was about to kill the Terminator?
No, what did I say?
You did the Jaws line.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
Time for your picture, motherfucker.
Yeah, that classic.
Smile, motherfucker.
Yeah, it felt very much like the end of Jaws.
When Ron Schnibley says, freeze frame, motherfucker, and then blows up the shark.
Well, yeah, all these picture of
Time to die, motherfucker. Chick, chick.
yeah, these are all great lines from Jaws.
Right, but then she gets in her own, you're terminated, motherfucker, and then terminates him.
Actually, that'd be a great some other company that makes funny videos. Not us, because we have no money, or other people that like us. But if someone was like reshot the end of Jaws, and he goes, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and then it like zooms in, and then it cuts back to somebody going, "Take a bite out of this bullet, you son of a bitch," and then like cycled through like endless streams of like end of movie slogans.
Yeah,
that'd be funny, right?
I like it. I'm on board.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
good.
would watch the hell out of that.
Yeah,
during
thank
my
you.
lunch break. At
Who should we
work.
contact about?
I don't know. Hollywood.
Oh, can you just
Hey.
get right in touch?
Hollywood, if you're listening, get those clips coming in. We'll put it together
clip,
ourselves.
clip.
But if you're going to do it yourselves, that'd be honestly easier. You're
Yeah.
good at it. We're not.
We're bad. I
So
made
the
that one
idea
video.
is
It was
golden,
really good
but
though.
You did make that one video that was really good.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to share that.
You please.
People have a
Hey,
right to know.
Everyone, look forward to the video Charles did that was good.
It was really good. It was They Live audio over the fight scene in King Kong.
It was really great. I love
it's
it.
really
if you
good.
ever wanted to hear Keith David and Roddy Piper fighting in the form of Godzilla and the T-Rex, it's fucking fantastic.
King Kong and the T-Rex.
Shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
I've been trying, but you keep making me be on this show.
Yeah, I insist. This has never been clear. Charles doesn't want to do this show.
Yeah, I want to keep my mouth shut.
He wants to just enjoy movies by himself and not even talk about them.
These movies.
But I force him. I say, hey, tell me some stories. Tell me a story about a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, movies are the ultimate story.
If you think about it, lights, camera, action.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what they say about movies.
That's famously a thing about films. Yes. So here's what we're trying to say about Terminator. If this was a standalone film, it would be delightful. It ends on this like wonderfully ambiguous note of like, she is going to carry the child of the revolution. She is going to go off and try to fight this battle, knowing what's coming. And so the stakes are really high. Given that he's a robot, we know that there's like immediately, a Deus Ex Machina to bring him back because he's literally a machina. We're all set for the sequel. I think keeping this in the vacuum talk, like, of course I'd be fucking rabid to see a sequel. This is such a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I sort of, in the same way that 2 ultimately overshadows 1, I sort of do just see this as a standalone movie. Even though it's so closely connected to 2, it's like, it's so fucking different and feels so weird and like not a part of the world. Like this is one of those rare examples of when franchising, normally when it feels weird is because it was a new team, new director, new writer. This is like the same fucking guy. And this is what he always does this. He gets people to like basically write the movie for him, but he's like, it's still my movie, baby.
I'm on some of that Cameron sauce.
I'm the one getting the millions here. So, just I'll thank you in the little ending part of the credits.
Well, it's like famously the Harlan Ellison story, who sued Cameron successfully over the plot to this.
Yeah, it says now at the end of the video releases, like
based on the short story so and so by Harlan Ellison. Well, I mean, also I think like with Cameron, his vision of world building is so predictable every time. Where he's like,
"Oh my god,
what if there were more conventional relationships? What if there were more catchphrases? What if there was more of everything?" Which is like, it's weird to me because the beauty of John Wick, in my mind, that's a series where, like, generally speaking, it really does hold to a pretty taut formula of like what we're going to see in these movies. Like a lot gets added and the lore gets developed a lot, but like they're very lean movies at their heart.
Oh yeah,
and I think looking at this. We know this explosion that's about to happen, and I want to just like take a minute to play taps for this movie. Put the Terminator flag at half mast. Goodbye, Terminator. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's the end of the last episode.
I'd like to terminate again. And
I'm not joining you this
dogs
time.
are barking. And Kyle Reese is LARPing.
LARPing?
He seems like he's LARPing.
You think he's a LARPer?
I bet a lot of people ran around cities screaming about 2029 after the movie came out.
Yeah, you think so?
I do.
We still haven't hit that one.
Remember the scene in the movie where the tired, overworked psychiatrist is like, this fucking kook's hilarious. This shit's stupid.
I actually wanted to talk about that.
Time travel, robots?
Well, I thought it was funny because this isn't a very good movie, ultimately. Like, it's a perfect movie, but the plot of it has so many holes in it. Anytime you introduce time travel into a movie, it's like, this doesn't make any sense. So it was great that they brought in a whole team of men to make fun of our main character, who we know is telling the truth. So if we see a bunch of these people being like, that can't be true,
He's not the main character.
we're like, it's true. So it's like, it's an amazing, like, double-handed way to get us to believe in a story that is very bad.
It's a very clever way to strong-arm the audience into like just being like, I can't believe they don't believe the Terminator
Right.
story.
And they're like, it's a perfect thing that everything makes sense. He's like, he's built this huge, perfect delusion. And like, yeah, you have, Cameron, and we're fine to believe in it. Don't worry.
Yeah, and all this sets us up for the sequel, which we will be addressing next week on When Will It End. Charles, any final thoughts on this?
I didn't know you were going to ask me that. We had very clearly scripted the whole beginning of this show.
Right. Almost, we almost overwork the specificity of our planning.
I mean, you make me read the whole sheet every time.
Well, I mean, I when I write this stuff, I'm fucking high as shit. I'm like fucking lit.
How many of those things?
Like 3 or 4 of them. And then we'll do the podcast scripting, and that's how we get this like tight format that we have today. My final thoughts are this. We got to have more dogs, obviously. We've introduced dogs being important. I'd like to see more dogs.
Okay, more dogs.
I want to see more dirty people, because this movie has a lot of great dirty people. We just got off of our, Gore Verbinski initiated series on the Pirates of the Caribbean, where everyone's fucking disgusting.
So much filth.
And these people are pretty gross the whole time. I like that as a rule.
Dude, the every time I watch this movie, when he puts on those pants,
I'm like, you're putting on hobo heroin pants.
You're not wearing underwear, dude.
Right. You now have a UTI.
That's
Congrats.
it.
And probably crabs.
That's not too bad. Yeah, I would say crabs. Because he was hairy.
He wasn't that hairy.
Oh, we haven't talked about fucking his dick. You see his dick. That's all we need to say, probably.
Like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, we see Schwarzenegger's dick.
He was jumping around here. Yeah, we see a little bit of dick, which is great. Is this the first dick we've seen in
We were talking about the nudity earlier. I was going to bring it up, and then we got fucking sidetracked. Why'd you write that in the script?
It's like a Charlie Kaufman style thing. Ever heard of him?
Uh-huh. I met him. I sold him a Kit Kat.
What'd you say?
I've told the story on the podcast.
You ate a Kit Kat?
I
Good
sold
story.
him a Kit Kat. He came up to me at the concession stand, and I was like, fuck, he's famous. Do I give him the Kit Kat or I sell him the Kit Kat? Do I give him the Kit Kat? I sold it.
Sell him the Kit Kat.
Yeah, he's fucking rich.
He's got walking around money.
Yeah.
For Kit Kats.
For Kit Kats.
You know who doesn't want a Kit Kat?
Who?
The Terminator.
Why not?
Okay, he's too busy fucking terminating.
I think he'd like a Kit Kat because cats probably don't care about Terminators.
No, cats would be very indifferent.
Yeah. I've decided that there are such thing as cat people and dog people.
Yeah, no, you've been very adamant about this.
Terminator is
annoying.
Definitely a cat person.
Oh my god.
What?
Cats can be very loving, and I think the level of dispassion that he just exhibits towards human life and animal life. I'll add, he kills the dog. Remember that? He shoots the dog.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
It's fucking brutal.
Fucking great.
Oh, so good.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying. I'm saying.
Okay, here's what he's saying.
It's totally understandable to love a dog because they're cute and they're cuddly. They run around. They
warn you about Terminators.
They warn you about Terminators. Yes,
you
use them.
Yeah.
You can dream about them and then wake up and be like, oh, I'm so glad I dreamt about those things that could warn me about Terminators. They do what you say. You can train them. They can be your pals for as long as they live. That makes sense. It also makes sense for people that have some sort of brain delusion that allows for a cat to live in their house and walk all over their cutting boards with their piss paws.
You say
scratch
that,
at their doors.
You say that it's a
and go,
brain delusion. I say that they're showing us what the real world is actually like, and you're the one living in the fantasy. Cats know we live in a Terminator-verse human world. And you live in this fantasy where everyone just gets along and barks at each other. No thanks.
Wow. So I guess
it's
that's
kill
true.
Or be killed.
There are cat people and dog people.
And most importantly, everyone loves this podcast.
And well, no.
I think that's the biggest takeaway.
True.
I think so.
I think everyone loves the Terminator.
It's true. He's our little friend. So look, we're going to try to get the Terminator on the podcast for the next episode. Talk to him about what it's like to terminate.
He'll probably kill us.
How we got into it.
Probably just kill us.
Who his guys are.
That was another thing. I think they're setting us up for the second one by all the people he didn't kill. Why didn't he kill those trucks?
Yeah, he could have gone back and killed so many more people. So many missed opportunities.
I mean,
he does strangely choose to kill very specifically because frequently he's like, "Get the hell out of here! I've got to go kill."
He kills the one punk, or he just throws.
Well, much like Salazar in Pirates of the Caribbean 5,
leaves one
Dead Men Tell No Tales. He leaves one alive to tell the tale of the Terminator. And we'll be back next week for more Terminator tales. So stick around. When will it end?